Take a breath. When did you see him last?
I don't even remember bed last night and I've just got up for my son and the other one's not here. Logan!
Okay, take a breath. He's 5 and he's gone. Can you see any of the
Logan! Logan!
I need you to speak to me, not just shout. I know it's really full on and it's really scary. I need you to tell me.
On July 31st, 2021, at 5:45 a.m, South Wales Police received a frantic call from a mother who had just discovered that her 5-year-old son, Logan, had mysteriously disappeared without a trace. While her partner, John Cole, and his 13-year-old stepson, Craig Mulligan, were out looking for Logan, Anne Harrod tried to understand what was happening. While Anne Harrod continued cooperating with the police over the phone, John and Craig searched the sleepy neighbourhood. When the South Wales Police arrived, the pair returned to the family home. But what they saw was deeply upsetting. Anne Harrod was more agitated than ever, blaming herself for leaving the back door unlocked. The police immediately began an operation to locate and recover the missing boy, combing every inch of the surrounding area to find some answers. But none of that proved comforting to John or Anne Harrod, who continued to be held within their home until the police was satisfied with their investigation.
Please tell me what is going on.
I've just seen police down there, and as I've gone to walk down
they were all looking
I've just been dragged back up here. No, but I've just been dragged back up here. You wouldn't let me search down that bottom end of the field. Is he okay?
I am his mother.
Yeah, I understand that.
Tell me what is going on now.
He's my baby. What's going on?
But the worst was yet to come. Just 15 minutes after Anne Harrod made her emotional call to the police, officers searching the nearby River Ogmore made a horrific discovery. Logan Mwangi was murdered, his body dumped in the river and abandoned. Returning to the house, the officers delivered the devastating news to the family. But the already tragic news came with an even more tragic reveal. All 3 surviving household members were arrested on suspicion of murdering Logan Mwangi.
I'm arresting you on suspicion of the murder of Logan.
What?
I do not have to say anything, but it may hardly defence if you do not mention when question, something which you later rely on the court. Anything you do say may be given evidence, okay? The necessity for my arrest of you today is for prompt effective investigation, to protect a vulnerable person, and to prevent the loss of skill of any additional evidence we need. Okay?
Right. Dumble-in, okay? Okay? Right. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder, okay? So you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which relates to the court. Anything you do say may be given evidence.
Don't take my children away!
No? Okay, is this part of the investigation?
I haven't done anything wrong!
Okay.
Where is Logan? Where is Logan,
He's still with us at the moment. He's still in the hospital with doctors.
What happened to him?
Can't explain anything further at the moment.
Why is nobody talking to me? You're supposed to be helping find out what happened, not arresting me when I'm telling you my son.
Okay.
What is wrong with you guys? You're supposed to be helping me.
Anne Harrod, John and Craig were each interviewed individually. But it quickly became clear that the situation would not be as straightforward as officers had hoped. For her part, Anne Harrod claimed that the evening was like any other. She bathed Logan, put him to bed, and went to sleep.
Logan got washed, and then I let him choose his pyjamas. He had his black bottoms with his little dinosaur ones on, and he was wearing a black Spider-Man top. So we had a mixed match outfit. I put Logan to bed and I tucked him in.
What time do you think that was?
About 10:30. And then I woke up and Logan wasn't there. I thought this was all my fault. I thought because of COVID and he'd been quarantined that he'd gone outside because I told him he couldn't.
But interrogators were unconvinced, noting that Anne Harrod's behaviour was unusual for mothers in similar cases. Typically, the mother is too overwhelmed with emotional anguish to answer the questions in any helpful way, often unable to recall details. But Anne Harrod was erratic, flipping between moments of calm focus and extreme emotional distress.
From the CCTV, lights appear on and off at various intervals through the early hours.
No, I did not switch the light off. I was asleep.
This is the front gate to your house leading out onto the street. And this would be around 2:45 in the morning. It's definitely a person walking through and they're carrying a shape what looks like a body.
Please close it, I don't want to see it.
Okay.
That's my son.
While Anne Harrod insisted that she was asleep, John told investigators a different story. According to him, Anne Harrod was not only awake, she was the one who found the body.
When Harrod said to me she heard him take his last breath.
John is saying both him and you had hit Logan. And you had ripped Logan's dinosaur pyjamas.
He was on the floor, and rather than grabbing his body, she's picked him up by his t-shirt and it's ripped.
This is not true, this is a lie.
And John is saying he woke was to you screaming, he's dead, Logan's dead.
And Harrod was seriously frantically panicking, so was I.
John told interrogators that Anne Harrod had sent him out to dispose of Logan's body in the river. When he returned, Anne Harrod allegedly told him to dispose of the ripped pyjama top that Logan was wearing when he died. Notice how Anne Harrod's tone shifts when confronted with the allegation.
He said that you handed him a dinosaur pyjama top. You said to him, we have got to get rid of this.
No, that's false.
And where is Logan's top now?
I don't know. I was too busy looking for my son to look for a dinosaur top.
While John finds it easy to talk in the interviews, Anne Harrod cannot look anyone in the eye. Her tone becomes direct and hostile when her innocence is questioned. Her emotions only emerge when she realises the tone is not helping her, leading her to adapt. But things are about to get much worse for her, as Craig reaffirmed his stepdad's side of the story, confirming himself as the unknown second person in the CCTV pictures.
I woke up in the middle of the night. Then Dad come into the living room with me. I know we weren't meant to do it, but we grabbed some of the rubbish in the back garden and we chucked it in the river. Now it was all in like black bags and everything. I don't know what was in the bags, I can't remember. And then about 20 minutes after, we went back out to check whether they've gone down. We didn't say anything, we were trying to be as quiet as we could because we didn't want to wake Logan or Anne Harrod. And I don't know whether Logan was still there at that point because we didn't look.
Aware that John and Craig's testimonies are working against her, Anne Harrod changes her story again. Until now, she's maintained innocence, suggesting Logan likely escaped and died by accident. But here, she begins sowing the seeds to get herself off the hook by painting John as a violent wildcard.
Jay is a good man. He is a good father, but he has his violent outbursts.
But while Anne Harrod believed she had succeeded in her quest to get off the hook, the interviewers were increasingly suspicious. Anne Harrod's claim that John was a wonderful father was immediately undercut by her acknowledgement that he was abusive. But she wasn't finished.
John states that he had grabbed Logan and had thrown him on the bed. You did the same.
No, I did not throw my son on the bed.
John also said that you'd hit him to the head.
I have grabbed my son in the past. I've grabbed him here and here. I've held him and I was like, stop telling lies. He killed him.
By this point, it's clear that someone is lying. And since Anne Harrod was the only one changing her story by the hour, the focus was on her. With John claiming that she tore the pyjama top and Anne Harrod denying it, investigators turned their attention to Craig, who confirmed that someone lied.
Tell me what you can about that top.
Mum ripped it.
When Mum grabbed Logan,
By the collar, yeah. It must have ripped off him.
Anne Harrod's story was falling apart under scrutiny, with both John and Craig's stories lining up. And soon it became clear that nobody in this family could be trusted. John was not the innocent father he claimed to be. Officers knew about his criminal record, but he also had a reputation for his racism. A former member of the National Front, John had been known to use racial insults against Logan and pressured Harrod to stop allowing Logan to see his birth father.
We are gonna just be chilling. I know no one will probably recognise me and no one knows me, but I just wanna get noticed in the face house.
Craig, John's stepson, had a history of his own. Craig had been living in foster homes for 6 months. According to his foster families, his aggression and mental health issues made him difficult to deal with. One claimed he threatened to kill them and spoke fondly for his parents, but expressed a desire to kill Logan. Despite this, John won custody of his son 5 days before Logan's murder. Neighbours painted an unsettling picture of the family's home life, with all 3 being abusive toward Logan. It wasn't uncommon to see Logan forced to spend long periods in a push-up position or standing in the hot sun until he was burned. One friend claimed the family once excluded Logan from a family takeaway and mocked him as he starved. Between August 2020 and July 2021, Logan was recorded to have broken at least 3 bones, with 2 hospital visits. Harrod claimed all 3 were accidents but changed her stories multiple times, at one point blaming Craig for pushing his stepbrother down the stairs. On July 21, 2021, Logan tested positive for COVID-19. UK law at the time required anyone who tested positive to self-isolate to prevent the spread of the virus. Harrod and John abided by the law but took the opportunity to inflict yet more abuse. Logan was forced to spend his 10-day isolation period separated from the rest of the household, locked in his room, which Harrod later described as a dungeon. Due to the conflicting accounts, it's impossible to know who killed Logan. But pathologists determined that he suffered 56 external injuries.
He's got what they call blunt force trauma to his stomach, and blunt force trauma basically means you're hit with something blunt. So is there anything you can think or an explanation as to that? He's got a bleed on the brain. Could that have been from you striking him that time?
I don't know, maybe. I don't think I'm smart enough to do that.
I'm just going to show you a couple of photos from exhibit ROD2, which is from Logan's bedroom. So this pillowcase, it's got patches of blood on it.
Yeah.
Has Logan had any injuries which might account for the fact that he's got patches of blood on his pillowcase?
Brushing his teeth, I don't know.
John's attempt to play the idiot is not working. His open confession that he hit the boy several times and his weak excuses only make him look guiltier and more sociopathic. Perhaps suspecting this to be the case, John willingly helps the authorities to locate the abandoned pajama top.
What I've got here is a map of the area. It would be really helpful for us if you could show us on there.
Right.
Around here, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when the pajama top is recovered, its condition raises more questions about Logan's final hours. Now confirming a struggle occurred, and with Craig and John telling the same story, interrogators turned to Harrod.
Officers have found the pajama top, and the damage to the pajama top appears consistent with the struggle, and that would be consistent with the injuries.
I don't know anything about his injuries. If I did, I've taken him to a hospital.
We are trying to find out what happened to Logan. Our priority is finding out the truth.
Jay hit him 3 or 4 times in the stomach because he wouldn't talk. Jay said the only way this boy understands his pain. He was laughing. That's a good one, isn't it? He swept him and pushed him to the floor and he banged his head.
How did that happen?
They've both done martial arts. Jay said he had to do it to get him to listen.
Having already sowed the seeds of John's violence, Harrod lays the blame at his and Craig's feet, painting herself as an innocent who attempted to stop the abuse. But, once again, her uncomfortable body language betrays her. When Harrod's allegations finally reach Craig, he throws her under the bus in retaliation.
Is there anything you'd like to add or alter?
Yeah, can you tell my mum to off for me?
Why is that?
Because she's blaming me and my dad for everything when we haven't done anything. Neither has my dad. Now, I'm just sick of this. She's just saying whatever she wants to get out of the cells.
So is it that you are now changing your story after hearing what John and Craig have said about you?
No comment.
Were you up that night?
No comment.
Like they say you were?
No comment.
Like the CCTV says you were? Were you awake?
No, I was not awake. I don't know how many times I need to say this. If I was awake, I could have saved my son. The only thing I'm guilty here for is child neglect.
By the end of the day, the police charge Craig and John with murder. But due to her consistent evasion of the truth, Anne Harrod is charged merely with perverting the course of justice. For now, it seems she's off the hook. But in reality, officers were still highly suspicious. 2 months later, Anne Harrod was brought in for questioning. Armed with the information that Logan was alive for several hours following the blunt force trauma that killed him, investigators hoped to trip her up. But Anne Harrod stuck to her strategy.
Was Logan in pain in the day, on the day, or in the days leading up to his death?
No comment.
We asked you if you knew that he was complaining of headaches, local pain, losing consciousness, vomiting.
No comment.
Or his abdomen or abnormalities would have caused him severe pain.
No comment.
Is there blood on Logan's bed because you assaulted him and ultimately you killed him?
No comment.
Unable to make an excuse or give a straight answer, her tears only make her more guilty. But investigators had a trick up their sleeve. They finally proved something that Anne Harrod denied from the beginning. She was awake.
His lights are being switched on and off, and there's opening and closing of the curtain, which is in Logan's bedroom. Okay, John and Craig are out at this point. We know from your previous accounts that it's only you at the address at that time.
No comment.
Both John and Craig are saying that you were awake.
No comment.
And this is your opportunity to set the record straight, for you to tell us anything that you feel may help us get justice for Logan and to find out what happened, to find out the truth.
No comment.
On her final day of freedom, Anne Harrod binge-watched reality TV. She showed no emotion, remorse, or grief, and only cried when she realized her lies had been untangled. She was finally charged with the crime she thought she escaped: murder. But before the case could go to trial, the internet presented one final unexpected twist. Not only was Anne Harrod a murderer, she was also a once aspiring actress who had appeared in a student film that, in a darkly ironic twist, centered around the murder of an unwell family member.
Diana, why haven't you taken your medication? You should know better by now.
Help! My little sister's dead!
It's a reminder that Anne Harrod is not the person she claimed to be. Note the similarities between her poor acting and overwrought emotions throughout the interrogation. She's an actress playing the most twisted role imaginable.
This story is very extravagant. None of it is true.
Why would John lie?
Because John's a liar. Because he doesn't want to get done for murder.
When the case eventually went to trial, Anne Harrod, John and Craig were all sentenced to life in prison for the unthinkable atrocities they committed upon a helpless child. After a lifetime of tragedy, trauma and abuse, Logan finally got something he never got the chance to experience when he was alive: justice.
I'm not saying it's not reasonable.
If he's unconscious, he needs me. He needs
He
warm
needs the
clothes.
ambulance
He
service
needs
at the minute.
mum.
He's got blankets.
He needs his
blankets, okay.
I feel so useless, Dad.
I know.